So we just launched Prepinsta Prime subscription, which is like 150 plus courses under one subscription. So it has courses like C, Java, Python, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cybersecurity, data structures, competitive coding, even company specific courses like TCS, NQT, Infosys, TCS Digital, Amazon, etc. The link is in the description of the video. Go check that out. I'm sure that you'll love that.
Hello everyone, welcome. We are going to be discussing the Infosys SP DSP coding question. Now Infosys is going to hire approximately 1000 candidates at a package of 6.25 LPA and 9 LPA. So, this is basically should ideally be one of your dream companies here. One more thing very quickly, Microsoft as of now is hiring. We've posted the link on our Instagram page. So if you don't follow Prepinsta 2023, which is ideally something that 2023 batch should follow, so make sure that you follow us on our Instagram account. Also, if you are 2024, so there are different Instagram accounts, make sure that you follow them based upon your year of passing out, right? So basically, let's start with this. So this is the exam pattern for normal Infosys exam, which would be for 3.36 LPA, which is generally testing profile. 80% of the people for the 3.36 LPA will get testing profile, and for the SP-DSP, so for DSE profile would be development and SP would be advanced technologies. I've already talked about that in one of my earlier videos called as Infosys syllabus and recruitment process. So you can check that. This would be the exam interface. Now Infosys for the first time has given the test pattern. I've already spoken about it in one of my previous videos, but practically very quickly going through it, there would be 3 coding questions. You would be given 3 hours. One would be easy, medium, hard. You can use C, Java, Python, and JavaScript. The first question level of difficulty would be medium. So here greedy algorithm. So they're not saying definitely greedy algorithm. They're saying generally we can ask it. So to be honest, it could be anything from data structures and from competitive programming. So dynamic programming, one of the concepts of competitive programming for the hard question, and similarly again same thing. So I'll quickly, whatever Infosys has given, I'll quickly go through that. You can check that, and these are the problems that you can see. Now they've also given one PDF here wherein they've shared the sample question. So we are going to be discussing this particular question in my video very soon. And there are a few questions that you can find, but actually last year previous questions they've not given, which you can search Infosys coding questions on Google. There's this particular page of Prepinsta wherein you can find obviously the solutions of the questions mentioned in the PDF, and apart from that last year coding question also. So for example, this year was asked in Feb 2022. Next question was asked in again Feb 2022. So there are so many coding questions here, but we've only given a certain number of few, but because obviously we have Prepinsta Prime subscription. So let's say if we have 50 previous year coding questions, you will find 5 to 6 of them on this particular page that I've mentioned, but others you will find on our Infosys SP-DSP online course. We'll be completing the whole syllabus of C, Java, Python, and apart from that, basic coding, intermediate coding, advanced coding, and competitive coding as well. So as you can see here, so that all will be covered. So you'll get approximately 200 plus courses under Prepinsta Prime subscription. Courses like ML, AI, cybersecurity, ethical hacking, C, Java, Python, intermediate coding, competitive coding, data structures. For example, this data structures course is 40 hours plus course. Apart from that, other courses that you can see on the screen, and for the Infosys SP-DSP micro courses, you can go here, and here you will find all the previous year questions and some concepts that are very specific to Infosys. So here, as you can see, right? So this is the course for Infosys SP-DSP. Now, without wasting any further time, let's go ahead. So to the coding question part, right? Also for the virtual interview, they've given the syllabus for it, right? And we've already spoken about it. So let's have a look upon the question here. So they've given a coding question. I want you to pause the video and I want you to read the whole coding question, because it'll be very difficult for me to explain you line by line. So I'll explain you with the help of some beautiful examples. Now, when you look at the coding question, I hope you've paused the video, and if you've read the whole question, you're almost wasting your time if you're not pause the coding question and try to understand the coding question on your own. So make sure that you please pause it. I'm saying again and again, try to understand on your own, and then see, based upon my explanation, does it make any better? or were you able to understand it perfectly on your own or not, right? So the coding question language is pretty difficult here. Almost 50% of the people will not be able to understand it, and even if you would be able to understand one important point, you'll be understanding incorrectly. Now, as you can see, they've also given the input output format also here, as you can see below, and these are the test cases. Now, rather than explaining the coding question, I'll take up an example. So what they are saying is there are two entities in the whole thing. So the first entity that there is the player. So for example, you are playing a game called as Mortal Kombat, and one after another there are monsters or coming that you have to defeat. So this is you. Let's say initially your health is 100 HP, right? Now there would be series of monsters that would be coming one by one, right? Now the monsters would have two things. One would be monster power points that we probably call in our solution as MPP, and one is bonus point. So what do you have to do is, so let's say there are two cases. So for example, monster power points. Now in the case of monster power points, if let's say the monster power point is 70, so what would happen is your power output is 100. 100 is greater than 70, so you will be able to defeat this monster because you have 30 extra power. But here the monster will also have some bonus points. So for example, 20. So what would happen is when the next monster, so let's say this was monster 1, you defeated monster 1 because his power was 70. Now when the second monster will come, so in that case, when let's say if the second monster's power is 110. So in that case, what would happen is, since you've already defeated monster 2, so your health experience, which was initially 100, will be 100. It'll get restored back to 100, but your health will now be 120 because there was a bonus of 20 that you received. A lot of people will mistake this as that, okay, 100 minus 70 is equals to 30. So my left power is 30. Now 30 plus 20, so my new power would be 50. It's not like that. So what would happen is 170, you defeated it. Perfect, because you have 30 extra power. Now before fighting the next monster, your power first of all will get restored to whatever it was before. And additionally, you will get 20 bonus points. So to fight 110, you have 100 plus 20 is equals to 120 power points. So thus you will be able to defeat this monster. But there could also be a scenario. So let's say if your power is 100, but in that particular case, if the monster power point is 150, so you can't defeat this because your power is less. But the question is not that. That's the first part of the question. Now what would happen is there would be series of monsters that would be coming that you have to fight. You need to tell that, okay, what are the maximum number of monsters that you can defeat? So let's say if there are 100 monsters, but you can only defeat 3 of them, fighting them in series, right? So what's the maximum number of monsters that you can defeat? So let's have a look upon it. So in the case, what I've taken an example is you have experience of 50 at the starting, right? But the first monster that you encounter would have a monster power point of 70. So in that case, you will not be able to defeat it. But it's not like that. The problem is not like that. We'll see. Even for the second one, let's say your power point is 50. You'll understand it is 80. So you'll not be able to defeat it. Right? Now, for the third case, your initial experience is 50. It is 20. So you will be able to defeat it. But there are some bonus points also, like 10 that you get. So the question says you can defeat them in any order that you like, and you have to come up with the best order so that you can defeat maximum number of monsters. So for this particular scenario, the ideal case is that rather than fighting monster 1 and monster 2, you would rather fight monster 3 first. So in that case, what would happen is 50 is your initial experience. You fight this monster first, so you'll be able to defeat it. So this guy is defeated. Now your experience would be 50 plus 10, it will be 60. Now what would happen? Obviously, this you can't defeat, this you can't defeat. You can defeat this, right? So what would happen here when you will come, your experience would be 60. You will be able to defeat this because 60 is greater than 55, and thus your new power would be 60 plus 15 is equals to 75. Now, what would happen is, obviously you can't defeat this, right? So you will be able to go through it, 70, right? So, because here your experience this time would be 75. So 75 minus 75, so basically you can defeat it. So you will be able to defeat this particular monster. Now your experience would be 75 plus 10 is equals to 85. Now further, you will be able to defeat it. Now, what do I suggest? So basically, you have to start from the lowest power point, from lowest. So basically, this is the lowest, this is the second lowest, this is the third lowest, and this is the fourth lowest. So if you fight these monsters in ascending order, you will be able to basically get the maximum output from it. So this is one of the ways on how you can solve it. So what you do is, so simply for example, in this particular case, as you can see, this was the initial order that they gave. What you can do is, you can apply some sorting algorithm. Generally, if you can use an inbuilt function in the case of Java and Python also, but generally there are sorting algorithm of O(n) square and n log n also. I will suggest this one because let's say if the question is giving you time limit TLE error, so in that case, if it is more than 10 to the power of 14 or some cases 10 to the power of 9, your total number of cases, if you're not a competitive programmer, you will not understand why this 10 to the power of 14 and 10 to the power of 9 are important. I'll not help you understand it right now because the video would become very long. But if you do not know about these two very important numbers, in that case, you need to basically get a Prepinsta Prime subscription and study from the competitive programming course. So you will basically apply sorting, and then in this particular case, you will follow them. So let's have a look upon the test cases also that they have given, so that we can understand the test case as well. So here the first line says that, okay, how many number of monsters are there? So there are 2 monsters. In the next 2 lines, they have given monster power. I'm sorry. Here, these are number of monsters n. And in the next line, they have given your initial health power, HP. In the next 2 lines, they have given obviously there are 2 monsters, so power of monster power 1 for 1 and power of monster power 2. And then in the next 2 lines, they have given the bonus points of monster 1 and bonus point of monster 2. So what happens is, obviously, as you can see here, your initial health is 123. So in that case, total number of monsters are 2. So obviously, if you arrange them in ascending order, that is 78 and 130. So you are able to defeat this 78. So as you can see, you are able to defeat this 78 monster. Your health, which was 123, gets increased to 133 because his bonus points are 10. So you've defeated this monster and you've gotten bonus point of this 10. Now for the second monster, your power point is now 133 and the monster health is 130. So you can defeat it, and then your health, which was 133, would get increased by 0. It will still remain 133, but basically there are no more further monsters. So you will give an output that, okay, I defeated 2 monsters. So I defeated this monster and this monster. This monster and this monster. Same thing, let's have a look upon the next one, right? So here there are 3 monsters. Obviously, your initial health point is 100, but if you would have started without sorting, you would not have been able to defeat this first monster, M1. Why? Because 101, 100 is lesser than 101. So which is why what I suggested was that sort them. So here, these 3 are the health point of monster MP. So what will happen is 100, 101 and 304. So this is monster 2, this is monster 1, this is monster 3. So you sorted them. Right now, particularly again, what would happen? You will be able to defeat this because 100 equal to 100. So you've just defeated him. So what would happen is For this particular monster 100, your bonus point is 1. So your health gets increased to 100 plus 1 is equals to 101. For the next monster, which also has 101 power, your health is 101. So you would be able to defeat him. Perfect. And then for this particular monster, that is 101 monster. So we defeated this 100. We defeated this 101 also. But for him, the power point, that is the bonus point, is 100. So your health, which was 101, will now become to 201. So as you can see here, right? But the health point of the final monster is 304. And you can't defeat him because 201 is less than 304. So obviously you stop and you say that 2 is the output, because obviously if you can't defeat this monster in the order, obviously since we are following an ascending order, even if there were more monsters, so let's say their health would have had been more than 304. So let's say 405, 601, so on and so forth. So let's have a look on the program here. What I will do is I will show you two different programs of Java and Python. I'll also show you C and C++ code, but I'll not explain those. But I'll show you where to find them. So very quickly, I'll explain the code of the Java, and then I'll show you the Python code, and then I'll show you the C++ code. I'll take very less amount of time because you need to understand the code on your own. I'll help you understand that what are the different type of functions and how those are working, right? So let me zoom in a little bit here. So essentially, what is happening is here we are asking that how many monsters are there. So basically, we are taking the value of n. Here we are creating the array for monsters, health, and monster bonus. So let's say if there are 5 monsters, for monster 1, he would have health. For monster 2, so monster 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So each one would have his health, and each one would have his bonus points, right? So that we are taking. Here we are taking your initial health. That is, let's say your health is 100, and then here we are taking input from basically here we have created the variable for monster power and monster bonus power, and here we are basically taking the input in monster power and monster bonus power. Right, so basically this part is input. What I've done here is, because I want to keep my code really clean, you can ignore to do this, but I've created a class called as monster, wherein we are setting, wherein I'm creating object for each monster, right? So let's say monster 1, monster 2, monster 3, monster 4, monster 5. Each of them is an object of class monster, and then each of them have their own variable called as power and bonus, right? And then I create monsters. I create total n objects of monster class, as you can see here. Now, what do I do here is, for each of those, I am setting up values in the object using this. Basically a constructor monster that I've created. So for each monster object, what would happen? The values that I've taken in an array. So for, let's say, M1 object, here his power is instantiated, and his bonus is initialized, right? For same for monster 2, power bonus, and same for monster 3, so on and so forth. How many number of monsters are there? And here I'm using an inbuilt function that works upon objects, so which is why I'm using a comparator, so that sorting takes place based upon what? Based upon power. So automatically power is power. So basically what would happen? Based upon power, your monsters would be sorted. So for, let's say, monster 3, monster 2, monster 5, monster 1, these would be sorted in order based upon power, and automatically, since I've sorted objects, automatically their corresponding BP would be obviously sorted, because I've sorted objects based upon power variable. And then finally, in my final piece of code wherein my logic is happening, so basically count gives me the value that how many monsters can I defeat. So here, if my experience, so basically I'm iterating upon all monsters starting from the ascending order first, that if my experience is less than m dot power, that is whatever, let's say if the lowest power is of monster 3, then monster 1, then monster 4, monster 2, monster 5. After using the sorting, my order comes like this. So I'm starting with M3 here. So if let's say if this is happening, so in that case, I can't defeat the first monster itself, so I would not be able to defeat the other monster, so break, and it will return the count as 0. But let's say if it's not the case, so obviously this statement will not get executed. What would happen? First of all, my count here gets increased. That okay, I can defeat one monster definitely, and my experience I'm increasing. So let's say 100 was my initial experience. So in that case, I defeated monster 3. So it would also have a corresponding bonus point. So let's say 20. So my new health would be 120. So when I'm fighting the next monster, here my experience would be 120. That's what I would be checking it through. So this is my Java code. Now to very quickly show you the Python code, same thing. Here I'm taking input of number of monsters, my experience. I've created list for power and bonus. I've created another variable a. Here in basically we have the answer. Here we are taking all the inputs. I've created a list of 2 values, which is basically for each a. Basically my a is nothing but monster. For each monster, basically append it to. So what would happen? My a would be looking like, let's say if the monster 1 has basically, let's say monster power of 70 and bonus point of 20, then comma, let's say 50 comma 10. So here BP and here MP and BP and so on, so on, so on, so on. Obviously my experience, let's say, is 100, right? So this is how I would be going through, and then finally I'm sorting. But by default, the sorting would happen based upon the monster power value. So it will get sorted in the order of, so obviously here, let's say if there was 20 comma 20, so it will get sorted in the order of these values automatically. So here I'll have 20 comma 20 after sorting, then I will have 50 comma 10, and then I will have 70 comma 20, and so on, so on, so on, right? And then obviously this part of the code is very similar. As you can see here, I'm starting with my first 0. So here I of 0. So for each I, that is for each monster, I am checking. So let's say if they here I have 20 comma 20 comma 40 comma 30 comma 70 comma 10, and so on, so on, so on. So what I'm doing here is this I is this whole thing. And here I'm saying that, okay, for each I, so this is for each I, that is here, I of 0 is this value. So I'm checking I of 0, are you greater than 100? No. If not, then I can defeat you. So first of all, increase the number of monster answer as +1, and also experience. So let's say if this was 100, I defeated this guy, its bonus is 20. So it will become 100 plus 20 is equals to 120. It's basically the same logic as the Java code. Now, what I would also do is, already the C and C++ codes would be put on this particular code page here. So by the time you're solving this particular video here, as of now, I've written the Java code and the Python code. There are better ways on how you can solve it using dynamic programming, and also using, so here I've used the internal function, which may give the result in ON square, because internal function may not be the most optimized one. So you may have to write, for example, let's say merge sort or quick sort code so that it runs in n log n, right? So if let's say you're getting a time limit error, which in this particular question they've not given as okay, what is basically the time limit error, or how many variables or how many data values you can have, right? So which is why they've not given it. So I'm assuming that okay, ON square would also work in this particular case. Now, how do you prepare for Infosys SP DSP? I've told you. So again, Prepinsta Prime subscription. Here you can check the placement report also. On the last year, we had an average package of 7.4 LPA, 2.7 average offer, highest salary was 47 LPA, 95.6% placement rate, etc., etc. I just want to show you this. Last till basically today, 4,109 people got placed in Infosys SP DSP. and basically it's a placement report. Amazon 3000 got placed, 291 got placed at 47 LPA, Adobe 43 LPA, total 997 Prepinsta Prime subscribers have placed. Same for service-based companies, etc. You can check this. So basically, Prepinsta Prime subscription, we have approximately 200 plus courses within one subscription. So you don't have to buy and purchase these courses again and again. You get access to, obviously, you get 2 certifications, one from Prepinsta, one from TCS Ion. We've partnered with them, and CoCube's assessment as well. So there are some corporates here that we are partnering with. Apart from that, popular skills like AI, cybersecurity, ethical hacking, C, C++, Java, Python, basic coding, intermediate coding are very important if you are non-CSIT people and don't know coding at all, right? Zero coding. So these are the 2 courses that we are suggesting. And if you know coding, in that case, for Infosys, SP, DSP, or any product-based company, we are suggesting data structures in your preferred language and competitive coding. And aptitude preparation for placements, CoCube, JamCat, HackerRank, Metal Course, company-specific tracks, projects, computer science subjects like operating system, DAB, DBMS. Link to this is in the description of the video. Interview preparation and in amazing quality. And the best thing is we have 7-day refund policy, so you can check about that. And also, I forgot to mention is top 3 comments in each and every video of Prepinsta Prime get Prepinsta Prime subscription absolutely free. Our social media team selects all of that. So that's pretty much about it. Have a check on this Prepinsta Prime subscription. Even if you want it or don't like it or don't want it in any of the case, I'd recommend you to check this particular page, try out a few things, and yeah, if you want to find out like a few previous year questions, so here you can find on this particular page, you can find Infosys coding questions, but we've not uploaded all of them. We've only uploaded a few of them. Others you will find on this particular course here, all the previous year questions. We have approximately 50 previous year questions of Infosys SP DSP on this course here. So thank you so much. Make sure that you do subscribe to our YouTube channel. All the best.
So we just launched Prepinsta Prime subscription, which is like 150 plus courses under one subscription. So it has courses like C, C++, Java, Python, artificial intelligence, machine learning, cybersecurity, data structures, competitive coding, even company specific courses like TCS, NQT, Infosys, TCS Digital, Amazon, etc. The link is in the description of the video. Go check that out. I'm sure that you'll love that.